first week's interest is on us. Your first week's interest is on us. Can you hear me?
Say that one more time.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm ready to have fun. I'm kind of.
I'm with you, Top Gun.
I'm kind of a little bit giddy today, or just like, what's the word? Punchy.
Yeah, I feel you. I gotta put programming here. We gotta go.
Let's go. Come on, I'm ready. Hello, sports fans. Welcome on in. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Proud to be a part of Utah's ESPN radio network. My phone alarm just went off. It's 10 o'clock. I guess we're going to do a radio show. Oh, yes, we are. It's Monday, and there is so much to talk about. So I want to be organized today. I want to be succinct. I want to get my point across. Everybody who's listening right now, I want you to take a collective deep breath on 3. Okay, so everyone, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're good to go. Now we are good to go. Welcome into the program. I got to give a shout out to my neighbor, Todd Childs, who came by my house. Help me move. Man, he was awesome, and I know he listens to the show. With a lot of other folks. So I hope you're listening today, Todd. You are the man, and I really, really appreciate your help last week. It was amazing, along with many, many others. And if anyone else is listening that I don't know. I don't know if you do or don't, but there were a lot of folks that helped out, and it was greatly appreciated. Okay, I didn't know what I thought. All I know is I was looking on the television, and there was this hot body on the television. I mean, wow. And they said it was Luka Doncic. And I'm like, there's no way that's Luka. How could it be Luka? Luka is like, he's a doughboy. And he's still got his baby fat. Oh, my goodness. Luka was just, he's changed his whole body. It's incredible. And what was so funny about Luka is, you know, he said, hey, I just really got some motivation from Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And they just said the off season there's a price to pay, a very, very big price to pay. And Luka did it. I mean, he did it, and he looks freaking amazing. Now, my theory on all of this is Luka is now in LA. You cannot have a doughboy body and live in LA. You just can't. Everybody there looks amazing. And everyone who doesn't look amazing, you don't ever see them. So being a part of the Los Angeles Lakers, I think that has more to do with the impact of Luka. But I'm just going to tell you right now, he looks phenomenal. Looks amazing. And to me, this is going to be a fascinating thing to watch, to actually see how far Luka, how much this will, change his game. Like, will he? Because he only played like 50 games last year, and he was hurt. And I think it had an impact on him getting injured. I think it had an impact on the whole thing. And so, I really hope that this propels his career to another level, because he's one of the top players in the NBA. He's now in like one of the most recognizable franchises in the NBA. And now he has a body that's like in the top 5 in the NBA. I mean, Luka is hot. He looks good, and you know what, Martin? He's actually got me. He's got me motivated. I'm gonna get a body by Luka. That's what I'm gonna do. Body by Luka. I think we should sell this whole package, and you can go from doughboy to oh boy in a hot minute.
I like the sound of that.
Yes. All right. I have so much. We're just going to talk it. I'm just going to talk about it all today. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to. I just had to talk about Luka, though. I mean, that, my goodness, was insanely crazy. And, of course, that's part of our hot headlines here on the show. Now, I saw this story, and I immediately texted Mark, and I said, look, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about this story because it's oh, boy. It's one of those things in the NFL that's kind of always been an unwritten, I almost want to say like rite of passage, or it's just a thing you do. Now, the NFL is looking into over 100 NFL players and coaches who have scalped Super Bowl tickets, and they got caught.
Uh-oh.
Now, let me explain something to you to start with. Every NFL player, active player, the retired players, they don't care about, but the active players, they all get 2 tickets to the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
So your team, you go to your team, and the league issues tickets. And I've always found this to be kind of stupid, from the standpoint of, like, what NFL player is going to go to the Super Bowl and just sit in the stands? like you got all these fans. It's like, you go through a tunnel, you park in a special spot. You don't ever go up into the stands. Like, you don't even know how to do that. Like, you would look at the ticket and you go, I'm lost. I don't know where do I go? I wouldn't even know how to get into a game. It actually happened to me. It happened to me when I was playing, and I believe I've told this story on the show before, but I went to Oakland to work out for the Oakland Raiders, and they were supposed to work me out on a Saturday, and they said, we'll do it on Monday, and so I'm like, well, I'm just in town. I'll go to the game. And I buy a ticket just like the normal public, Joe Q public, and I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute. People could recognize who I am, and it happens all the time. I even today get recognized, which is weird. And it's happened. I don't want to get into that. We can talk, like, being recognized in public. We should talk about that. Write that down, Mark, because it's a very funny thing to actually be recognized in public.
But back to the players stealing tickets.
So So the point is sorry. Again, I took a deep breath. Okay, I'm focused today. So the players, like, no player is going to go, I'm going to the game. Now, they'll go to the game.
Right.
They'll sit in a suite. Usually what happens is there's so much going on during the week. Like, no one really goes, I want to sit and watch the game. They rather go home.
Yeah.
And I've actually been to a Super Bowl and done that, where I just it's insane. The whole Super Bowl experience is insane, but not the game.
Right.
So what players do, and maybe not, I have done this in the past. I don't know.
Hawk off some tickets.
Somebody in the organization, whether it's a player, whether it's the equipment manager, whether it's somebody, goes, can I buy your tickets? Every year. Okay? Every year I sold my tickets. I didn't know. I just sold them.
Yeah.
And I remember, I want to say like my rookie year, tickets were maybe $100 face value.
Ooh.
And I don't know that any player has ever sold their tickets for, I don't know, 10 times whatever it's worth.
$10,000.
Yeah, and every player does it. And they did it from the beginning of time. And there's someone who, now the most I ever got for Super Bowl tickets was when I was with the Baltimore Ravens. And Tony Siragusa bought a lot of tickets.
He's got a lot of kids.
Well,
he did.
May he rest in peace.
Sorry, I mentioned,
Yeah. So, but the point is This is in the 1990, and it wasn't, by the way, the first year. Like, that was just my first year.
Right.
This had been going on way before. And all I can say is I know that nobody ever paid or sold their tickets for what the face value.
Mm-hmm.
It was always for a whole lot more. A whole lot more. Now you go, well, if you're buying these for a whole lot more, you're also going to sell them for a whole lot more.
Right.
And there were some people who actually said, look, you know, I do have a lot of kids, or I have a lot of family, because when you get the tickets, you're not going to the Super Bowl. Now, teams that go to the Super Bowl, I think each player gets like 20 or 24 tickets, or it's quite a few tickets. I mean, they you know, to play in a Super Bowl, you get a lot, but as a player, an active player in the NFL, you get 2 tickets. If the NFL, and so the NFL's cracked down on this, and I'm thinking it's 2025. And you're just getting around to cracking down on actual tickets being scalped by players and you know, front office people. And here's the thing. Back in 1990 and before, like, it was a decent amount of money. And you didn't get paid a lot of money. And you're like, you know, this is kind of a nice little perk or bonus or whatever it might be. And now it's like these players make so much money. It's like,
yeah.
And I don't know what the face value on a Super Bowl ticket is. What is it, like $1,500 or something
about
like that?
Probably,
depending on
where you said.
sit.
Yeah.
Again, for the life of me, I don't understand, like how a team could, or the NFL in a good conscience go, yeah, we're just going to put NFL players in the stadium. Like, now what would be cool, actually, and maybe they do this, I don't know.
Right.
Because I never used the tickets to go watch the game. I wonder if they could put all the players in a certain section, you know, and kind of have it roped off, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, you know, this is, and maybe they have people, ushers or people kind of standing along that area. It's like, yeah, don't come over here. And then it gets awkward because, like, say you're, you know, let's just, I don't know, say you're Dak Prescott, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I brought his name up. I'm just thinking of a current player.
Right.
And you're sitting, you know, you're sitting on row 10.
Right.
And you're right on the aisle, and you're in the sacred section. And some kid goes, man, you can get an autograph. And Dak Prescott, what does he do? You know, he says, no, because I'm in the special section. And because then you create a firestorm. You create some just insane. Now, I understand that it's really important if you're very famous to show up at the Super Bowl. Like it's a, you know, but do you see those people? You know, do you see the Taylor Swifts and the Ryan Reynolds and The Rock and I don't know, Adam Sandler?
I just did the math. You also got to think about it. It's only a little bit under 1,800 players go to the Super Bowl.
Right. It's not a big. That's if everyone goes.
Right.
Now you got to remember, 100 of them are playing in the game.
Yeah.
So it's not a big segment, but still, just I don't know, out in the common area with the common folk, like you know, and it's weird in that world. It's weird. It's weird.
Like if Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson sat by each other and was like watching the game,
right? But the fans would be going bananas.
Yeah, they would be.
They'd be like, they'd be taking pictures. They'd want an autograph. Can you? And it would put the players in a really awkward position because they have to say no.
Right.
Otherwise, there's just going to be a mob of people on players. And this is what I've never understood. Yeah, I do not know of a player ever, and I would love to find if there was a player in the NFL who actually went to the game, used his tickets, and viewed the game.
We ask Gauntlet of Truth type questions with all of our former players. We got to ask that question. Hey, who did you sell your NFL Super Bowl tickets to?
What's the highest amount you have sold your Super Bowl tickets?
Who did you sell
them to?
Totally,
100%. Yeah, that's a great question. Man, you're on your A game today, Martin.
I'm trying, man.
I'm loving it. So So if the NFL had a brain and they knew this, that the players can't go, but they give a player a ticket, and most players go, well, I'm not going to the game, so I'll sell my tickets. And so I'm just telling you, every year someone would come around and they'd go, can I get your Super Bowl tickets? And you're like, yeah. And they go, I'm just telling you, I think I paid, I want to say they were $100 my first year, and I paid like someone bought $300 per ticket.
Ooh.
And I'm a poor rookie.
That's in 1992.
And I got 1990. Not 92. Price went up in 92. But like, I'm not kidding. I think I sold them for, I probably shouldn't even say it. Probably get arrested for what I'm telling everyone. I didn't know it was illegal. I didn't know I would. There's got to be a statute of limitations.
Right.
25 years ago. Come on.
Oh, they'll just take it out of your NFL pension.
Yeah. Speaking of NFL pension, so I saw this story, and I just thought people would find it interesting to know. Most players don't go to the game, but all of them sell their tickets, and they sell them for a whole lot more, and they've been doing this for decades. Yeah. And it's not a secret. It's not been a secret.
Right.
It's literally the guy walks around the locker room, goes, "Can I buy your tickets?" Like he's not like, "Hey, come here. I need to talk to you in private. I understand you got a couple of tickets to Super. Could I buy them from you?" Like, no one does that. They just go, "Give me your tickets. You going to the game?" No. Okay, fine. And so how the NFL all of a sudden today just goes, yeah, shame on all of you people. I actually believe that someone did get fired for this.
I bet you it's not the act of selling the tickets. I bet you it's the act of, hey, how come you sold tickets for $30,000 a piece? You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. See, I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, you're not.
I don't.
Did I break the law?
I don't think so.
I mean, it'd have to be a misdemeanor because I didn't get that much money for him.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I just have to go into this since we're on the subject of Happy Gilmore 2. It came out.
Did you watch it yet?
No. And apparently Adam Sandler, I guess Netflix is kind of his thing these days.
Yeah.
He must be doing really well on. And by the way, his other movies that he's done on Netflix, I really like.
I do too.
I actually really enjoyed those movies. They've been a couple of murder mystery ones that I'm kind of into that to begin with, but I've really enjoyed them. I liked Happy Gilmore before. I will watch Happy Gilmore. I'm actually looking forward to it. What was fascinating to me about it, how many people are in this movie? Like, it's insane. It's insane the number of sports personalities that are in this movie. And I just have to wonder, is it too many? Ooh. Like, can you ever have, and I understand Adam Sandler's kind of a very gracious guy. He's always really good about, he's got his buddies that always show up in his movies, Rob Schneider and all his, SNL guys. And he always has a place for him in his movies. Chris Rock, and they, most of the time they show up in his movies. And so he's really good that way. Mm. But it's almost like, it feels a little Oprah-ish. Like, you get to be in Adam Sandler's movie. You get to be in Happy Gilmore. You get to be in Happy Gilmore. I mean, it was like everyone who's played professional golf is in Happy Gilmore.
I think you're putting together a good resume to be called for Happy Gilmore 3.
It sounds, and he said, no, I don't do sequels. And then he did Grown Ups 2 and all this stuff. And so I think he'll be well received. I know nothing about it. I'm not here to give a review or anything. But it brings me back to a time when I was in a movie. And I got a cameo in a movie, mm-hmm. right? And the biggest question people ask me, because I guess this whole idea of making money off of your Super Bowl tickets, it reminded me of how much money I made for being in a movie. And people, when they find out I'm in the movie, the very first question they ask is, how much money did you get paid? Everyone, that's the first question.
Yeah, do you still get royalties for the movie?
Right.
For the movie?
No.
Oh.
No, but that's a good question. No, because no. I was an extra.
Oh.
Now, I want people to think that I was more than. I do get a credit in the end of the movie. So my name, as you get to the end of the movie, boom, there's my name. And for all of that, drum roll, please. I got $150.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I'd have paid him to be in the movie. I'd have done it for free. I seriously would. I would have just been like, I'll be in your movie. And it was fun. And so the best part about being in a movie was the food.
Ooh.
Unbelievable food.
Nice.
And they're like, help yourself. So basically I looked at it as I paid $150 for a really nice lunch. That was it. And I got to meet, I didn't get to meet him. I got to witness Jim Carrey in character.
That's fun.
That was very entertaining. Very, very entertaining. Now, I thought the movie was going to be stupid and dumb, and a lot of people kind of think it is, but it certainly was a hit.
It's an amazing movie.
It changed Jim Carrey's life. And, let's face it, it changed my life too. Like, I actually, okay. Should we go for a break right now? Let's do it. Yeah, because I want to get into this next subject. And it's been a story that's kind of been unfolding before our eyes, and it's the debacle that is the NFL Players Association. There's a possibility of criminal misconduct on the horizon. We'll talk about that and so much more when the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell returns here on ESPN 700 92.1 FM. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 700 92.1 FM, Utah's number one sports talk. Oh, man, I got to tell you about an experience I had recently right at the point of the mountain, UCCU building, Wait Vision. Walked in the door, blown away from the first moment I went in. Just an absolutely stunning office. And right from the very beginning, they just took incredible care of me. They did a complete diagnostic workup. So they really do a lot of evaluation and study and identify all the vision issues that you may be having. That way they can prescribe the very best procedure. And they do all types, any type of vision correction surgery, anything you need, but they get a really good assessment of what you do need, and then you sit down and they talk about the potential options, and then you make a game plan, and then they execute on it, and they do a phenomenal job. The procedure is minimally invasive, 15-minute procedure with very, very little downtime. I was shocked. I mean, it's stunning how this has absolutely just changed my life and how I see things. I spend a lot of time on a computer. I spend a lot of time on a phone, which I would say is most of us. And my vision to see things is just phenomenal. It's something that I'll never have to, the certain surgery I had, I'll never have to have happen again. And it's just been, incredible. I absolutely I've loved every part of it. Now, Dr. Waite is a fellowship-trained and board-certified specialist in refractive surgery. Like, it's his thing. Like, he just knows how to do it. And of course, he can do all kinds of vision-corrective surgeries, but this refractive surgery is the real deal. So go check him out. It's waitevision.com, WAITE vision.com. One of the things, Martin, that I always find fascinating, and I've been fascinated with this from the time I was a little boy, and that is throwing a spiral with a football. There's just a thing about it, and you just and I know like my son, he's playing quarterback, and just everyone's like, how do you throw a nice tight spiral? I remember Steve Young saying, man, my left-handed spiral looks terrible, but yours looks really nice, which was a nice compliment from Hall of Famer, all that stuff. And he was being genuine about it because, let's face it, Steve Young's spiral was kind of gnarly. It was nasty. There was a funkiness to it, and he knew that. Like, we all know that. And when you throw one, like you go, wow, that looks so good, and then you watch it on film, or they have these NFL highlights, and the ball kind of has a wobble to it, as it goes through the air because it has the laces on it. And most of I think the worst spiral throwing quarterback in NFL history is Peyton Manning. Like, he just couldn't throw a spiral to save his life. He threw a point there. He threw a tumble. Yeah, like but the ball just tumbled through the air. But what you learned as a player, it didn't matter, because if you're watching it on the game film, you can't tell if it's a spiral or not. You just see the location and the ball. It doesn't matter. It's only on NFL films when they slow everything up for dramatic effect that you actually notice a spiral, and then it's either good or bad. Now, I don't know what it is, whether it's the throwing motion, because there's been an evolution in how they are teaching these quarterbacks and the technique to throw. But they just seem to throw it with a lot more spin these days.
Oh, yeah. More spin, more force.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's like it's a carbon copy. They all look the same. It's kind of annoying.
To keep going down this rabbit hole of this, what technique or advice did Dan Marino give you on how to throw a spiral?
No, Dan Marino didn't give me any advice about it. No, here's his advice. Pick a guy and let it fly. And then he would say, I don't care what kind of defense you have, you cannot defend a perfect throw. If I throw the ball in the perfect spot, you cannot defend it.
I like that.
And that's very true. Now, his dad taught him up and out. That was his motion, and that was he's been renowned to have this super quick release. So the ball went up and it went out, and it was just up and out, and that was the motion that he had. But if you take like the golden era, I believe of the NFL, you take Jim Kelly, he had his style. Yep. John Elway had his style. Joe Montana had. None of them looked the same.
No.
Marino didn't look like him. Brett Favre didn't. Steve Young, none of them looked the same. And yet Troy Aikman had a very different delivery from anyone. So Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I can go through all the quarterbacks in my era, and none of them. And you look at so many guys today, and you go, well, his motion looks like his motion, and they all look. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. None of it's a bad. The bottom line is what Dan Marino said: pick a guy and let it fly. And if you can throw the ball in the right location, you can play at this level. Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady, like none of them. And now it's like, I don't know, they just, it's like Joe Burrow looks like, Josh Allen looks like Patrick Mahomes looks like Matthew Stafford looks like.
Yeah.
They all, and some of these other guys, now the guys like Sam Darnold looks like all of these guys. Kirk Cousins looks like they all look like they're out of the same mold of everything that's going on.
Everybody's practicing that sidewind throw.
The only one who doesn't look that way is Tua.
Yeah, Tua's got a funky release.
Tua, man, like I've just like it's mind bending to me to watch Tua Tagovailoa throw a football.
Tua and Tim Tebow have just had the most funkiest releases I've ever seen.
Tim Tebow, that
was disastrous.
Okay. So there's a commercial from back in the day. And it's about, you see this kid trying to throw a baseball, and he throws it horribly.
Yes.
He throws it like he's throwing it with his bad hand. You do right or left hand, and you throw it with your off hand. Like Jaden Daniels, they all look the same. Like I'm seeing Jaden Daniels on TV. They all look the same. And then you see his dad throwing the ball back to him, and his dad throws it as bad as he does. That's what Tim Tebow reminds me of. That some parent or someone along the way who couldn't throw a football taught him how to throw a football.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it just... And it's no knock on the guy won a Heisman Trophy and he's whatever, but his motion does not look pretty.
No,
does not look pretty at all. Okay, this is not what we were going to talk about,
but it was a fun segment.
No, it's kind of fun to talk about though.
Yeah,
like Jackson Dart, like he looked. I would even say Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, they all look the same. None of them. Although Dak Prescott has this like. It almost looks like the yips in a golf swing.
Yeah.
Like he has that little hip turn.
Yeah.
It's just a little over-exaggerated. It's like, do you have to be that pronounced with the hip check? Little hip check. Do you like hockey?
I do love hockey.
You do. You're a hockey dude.
I'm a hockey man.
You're a hockey dude. Okay. Let's talk about the NFLPA, and they're actually possibly facing criminal charges.
Uh-oh.
This is not a shock to me. If you look at unions in all aspects of life, they kind of have not the greatest of reputations.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Jimmy Hoffa's son, speaking of unions, I think his son figured out, was I dreaming this? I thought I read this somewhere. His son had actually figured out who killed Jimmy Hoffa.
Uh-oh.
When I played you've heard of Jimmy Hoffa, right?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone's like, where is Jimmy Hoffa buried? A lot of people say it's in Giant Stadium. They buried him under the cement when they were building the stadium. There's a lot of different things. Now, Jimmy Hoffa went missing in Detroit, Michigan, at a restaurant, which I have been by. I wouldn't go in it, but I've been by it.
Don't want to go missing.
Right. Yeah. Well, it supposedly has mafia connections.
Ooh.
And I try to stay away from those things.
Oh, yeah.
They scare me. It's one of those things that goes bump in the night.
You'll wake up with a horse's head in your bed.
Exactly. Don't want to have that happen. And apparently Jimmy Hoffa. Anyways, so union's bad. Or at least have that perception.
Right.
And so when I hear this stuff, like I'm not shocked at all. And part of it is these players are stupid. Myself included. Like I didn't know what was going on in the union. And when I hear that there was money issues, part of it was that there was this agreement with this new company to promote name, image, and likeness. Mm-hmm. And this Lloyd Howell was actually on the executive board of this committee that they had signed this agreement with. It just smells horrible, right? But the federal government has come in and said, we're taking a look at you right now.
Yeah.
Because none of this seems right. Now, I remember back in the day, when I dealt with the union, the Players Association, and I just remember Gene Upshaw, who was a tremendous player. May he rest in peace. But at the time, again, this is 1990, 92. Gene Upshaw was making $1 million a year as the president of the NFL Players Association.
I was just about to ask.
When most guys, almost all of the players, were not even close. Like current players, the ones that are the most important, most valuable, it would be like saying, in today's NFL, your NFLPA guy makes $75 million a year. If you compared it to what the salaries were. And I just remember that. And there was not a player who was happy about Gene Upshaw making $1 million a year. And you know who got to decide Gene Upshaw's salary? Gene Upshaw. He goes, I'm president of the NFLPA. You know what I'm going to do? I'll give myself a raise.
After saving the league twice from 2 strikes.
And everyone, and this is the thing with the NFLPA, it's in the back pocket of the NFL. Like it's not, it really isn't this. And it's just the nature of how everything is.
How much was your union pay?
Pay?
You like
when I paid dues.
Yeah,
you mean my dues?
Yeah, how much were your dues?
They were $4,500 a year.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a significant amount of money. And then what they did, and again, I have no idea how much money. So trading cards. That's what funded. That's actually what gave the NFLPA the ability to fight the owners. Because the owners go, you guys are stupid. You're not organized. Your careers are too short. We make it where it's not going to work out for you.
Right.
And we'll just sue you into submission where you can't pay for enough lawyers to do this.
Right. So
they started to implement the trading cards because the trading cards were the players because it's us. It's our image.
Right.
Like our face is on there. And the cards were what funded the lawsuit. Now, I have no idea how much money they actually made off the cards. So you as a player didn't make any money.
Okay.
All that money went to fund the lawsuit and fund Gene Upshaw's $1 million. So if Gene Upshaw is making $1 million a year, trading cards are doing well. And I believe so, but you don't have any idea how well. Like you have no idea. So I always felt like, and traditionally you kind of get a sense for unions, kind of shady. You know, I've never liked, I've never trusted, I've never had any confidence. And so to hear this coming out, and all of a sudden the players are like, we need to look into this.
Yeah.
Like this is okay. This might be a serious thing. I think it's a thing that's been going on for some time. And I want to say, let's see. About 5 years from now, I think they'll come up 4 or 5 years. Another collective bargaining agreement will happen, and that's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating because there's gambling, there's streaming, there's traditional television. The NFL is making a buku of bucks, and where does this fit with all the players? Because they'll have to negotiate a new strategy. Now, one thing that is happening that could help the players is their careers, I believe, are actually longer. The rules have actually allowed players, and a lot of it is the limits on contact, the way you practice, the way some of the rules have changed. It's a different deal. In fact, we're gonna get into that side of it when we come back, because you start training camps are going on and guys are getting hurt, and kind of how do you deal with injuries, and it's kind of a hard thing. We'll talk about that and so much more when the Down and Dirty returns here on ESPN 700 921 FM. All righty, sports fans, welcome back. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. So glad you could be a part of our show today. As every day, you guys are amazing, and it's so fun to share some of my day with you. Hope you appreciate what we talk about. It's real, it's down, and it is dirty. I may be criminally indicted after today's show. I don't know. Hopefully the statute of limitations has, subsided. It was only a couple $100. Come on, give me a break. I was a young kid. I didn't know what I was doing.
That player's man, he had to take his parents to the Super Bowl. It was just, It just had to be done.
I didn't know. Everyone else was doing it. I just went along with everyone else. So I want you to do a little research for me really quick, Martin. I want to know how many games Deshaun Watson's actually played for the $230 million guarantee contract. And we'll get to him in just a minute. By the way, players are funny about other players and their contracts. Like players are petty. Okay, they really are petty. They want they get mad when someone gets paid. They get super mad. Now I can tell you, he got a little petty with me. Was Dan Marino when I started playing and I got a contract and I became a free agent. He goes, "Man, you owe all that money to me. You owe it all to me." Because if I hadn't gotten hurt, you would not be getting paid today. And I said, well, I still had to play well. I mean, that part was on me. And, I worked really hard to get to this position. And I just did what you had said. Hey, when you get your opportunity, you better make the most of it. There were 8 or 9 quarterbacks drafted before me, and they did not get paid.
That gosh darn Achilles. Why did it have to go bad?
Yep. So players are funny. And I would love to see how the Cleveland Browns feel about Deshaun Watson, okay? So we're going to do kids are going back to school pretty soon. So we're going to do a little math problem here. $230 million divided by he's played in 19 games.
19 games.
He's been paid $12 million per game. He's played. $12 million per game that he's played. That hurts, and it's a tough position to be in because I liked Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be one of these up and coming stars, and really liked him at Clemson, and liked what he was doing with the Houston Texans, and thought it was going to be a great move. And it was just bad before it ever started, and it's not ever gotten any better. And it's just a crazy, sad thing. I wanted to touch on this. I might spend most of the segment on this subject, though. But I was just, again, I got distracted by a shiny object. I saw Deshaun Watson, and I was just like, whew. How much money does he make for just playing? Anyways, it's an absurd amount of money. And players don't like it. I'm just telling you, they don't. Sometimes they get happy for you. They usually get happy for you when their contract's up because you set the standard. So I think Deshaun Watson has set a standard. Now they don't get fully guaranteed contracts, but they get a lot. You're seeing a lot of the money guaranteed these days, and that's something that was not the case. Nothing was ever guaranteed in the past. So I think a lot of people can thank Deshaun Watson for his generosity. Okay. Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Chicago Bears, is laying down the law. He's setting an expectation and a standard. And I can so appreciate this because I've had coaches that laid down the law, had coaches that I was like, do we even have any laws? Like, I don't know. And then we have a law, and it's like, oh, but that's only on Tuesdays. Like, you never knew when it was enforced or whatever. It was just a very, very strange occurrence, and it was not a good thing. But Ben Johnson, he said, it's all the small details that matter. And on the first day of training camp, the Chicago offense struggled just to get lined up properly during a team period. And Johnson blew the whistle dead and sent the whole team off to the sideline, including Caleb Williams. And there's been rumblings out of Chicago. Caleb can't remember the play, can't get the plays called, can't do it. And it is what it is, okay? Now, Ben Johnson's not stupid. But you have to kind of make examples, right? I remember Jimmy Johnson very famously one time said, I'm not going to cut Troy Aikman. Like I'm not stupid, right? I'm not going to find, but if there's a player that's expendable and he's not cutting the grade, I may have a public execution and cut the player.
Yep.
To set the standard, to establish fear and intimidation. Because that's what the NFL is. They go, hey, I'll cut you today. No one's above the law here. And so it's because players go, well, hey, I've got all this money and I'm just fat and happy and glad to be here. And these coaches are like, my rear end is on the law here, or on the line. And so you better have some attention to detail. You better get yourself serious about what's going on, or you're out. And so they use situations to motivate or to just keep the team in check. And right from day one, and it's like, I don't care, Caleb Williams is first pick in the draft, and you're all this and you're all that. We're going to do it the right way here, and everyone's going to be held accountable to that. And so it's not just about Caleb Williams. It's not just setting an example with it's not, Caleb Williams is terrible and it's about, I'm setting a tone, I'm setting a standard. Bill Belichick used to do this with Tom Brady. Like, he was never, ever going to bench Tom Brady. He was never, he's never nothing. Like, he was not stupid. He knew what Tom Brady was, but he knew that through Tom Brady, he could actually get a lot of mileage and a lot of production out of his team without Tom Brady. So a very, very masterful move by Ben Johnson. And now you talk to players, and some of them will say, I remember Joe Montana saying to Mike Holmgren, who had just been hired actually out of BYU, to be the offensive coordinator for Super Bowl champion 49ers. Imagine that being your first job in the NFL. It's like, I want you to come in and be the quarterback coach for Patrick Mahomes, and that was kind of the equivalent back in the day. And Joe Montana said to Mike Holmgren, he goes, I want to be coached. I want you to push me. I want you to find the holes and the weakness in my game. Let's get them better. And Mike Holmgren says, boy, that really taught me a lot as a coach. That here, because Joe Montana at the time was the guy, like, greatest of all time. Joe Cool, like, man, the 49er offense, and he just looked so good doing all of it. And it was just incredible, what Montana was and how he played. And yet here he goes, I want to be better. And so these coaches use opportunities in practice or wherever to make a point. And I think a lot of people are reading into, well, I don't know about Caleb Williams. I don't know if he's any good. I don't know if Ben Johnson can corral him and mold him and shape him into something amazing. You're seeing all these things, everyone lists the whole idea of accuracy and has a hard time getting the plays in, or whatever, all these different things. And I'm just like, these coaches aren't dumb. Like, they know, look, Ben Johnson is a smart man. And really smart coaches go, I'm not going to get into a situation that has a team that doesn't have a quarterback. That's brain damage to me. So you take Harbaugh. Harbaugh leaves Michigan. Where does he go? The Chargers. It's like, Jim Harbaugh is not an L.A. guy, but he's a Justin Herbert guy.
Yep.
And he goes, that's my guy. I'm sure he doesn't want to go to a place like, New Orleans, You know, but you get a Kellen Moore goes, I don't care. I just want a head coaching job. I'll go anywhere. And it may be the demise of him as a head coach because he doesn't go into the right situation. And so Ben Johnson, who was by the way the hottest commodity as far as coordinators go, and he's had a very good history of kind of turning a guy around. He did that with Jared Goff, the whole thing, and here you have Jared Goff was the number one pick. Jared Goff was kind of considered a bust. So it'll be fascinating to see where that ends up. Now, I can appreciate this as a player. Like having a coach, like I wanted to be coached. I wanted feedback. Like I don't care what it is. And I don't know if you can appreciate this in your work. So all you people out there listening, imagine everything you do is on film. So they videotape your whole entire day. So you're sitting at your cubicle looking at your computer, and there is a video camera watching you. Now, it's one thing to watch you. Then you sit down with your supervisor, and you review your day's work every single day. That was what it was like in the NFL. You were constantly evaluated on a daily basis, all the time. And you just got used to it. You just were like, and you appreciated it because you couldn't lie. You couldn't get away with anything. And I didn't like the coaches who they tried to manipulate you to like, I guess, perform better. And I could appreciate, like Coach Shula, like it felt like every word that came out of his mouth was authentic. Like there was no okay, I'm going to mess with the players. I'm going to do a little gamesmanship here kind of thing.
You never beat around the bush.
No. And I had coaches that did. I had coaches that didn't even say anything.
Ooh.
Ever. And you just like, are we doing good? Are we doing bad? What are we doing here? And then I had coaches that were kind of manipulative, and they would say things because what happens is you go, I just want to trust what you're saying. I don't like to be played. No one likes that.
No.
But I'm okay to have, real criticism,
right?
A real input into what, what I'm actually doing. Like we had Bobby Ross, who was our coach in Detroit, and he just came in the meeting room one day and he just said, "I want you to vote if you're going to keep me as your coach or not." And I want all the other coaches at team meeting, and he goes, "I'm going to leave. You guys sit in here, you discuss it, and then the team captains come to me after you've made your decision, and we'll go from there." So we voted to keep him as the coach under certain circumstances, and we had a whole list of demands.
Ooh!
Can you imagine doing this in your? It's so stupid.
I wish.
So the players go into his office and the captains and they say, "Okay, we want you here under certain." And he goes, "No. It was either I'm your coach or I'm not the coach. I'm not changing. I am who I am." And so we just kind of dropped it. Now, I found out that when he was with the Chargers, they had done the same thing. And they voted him out. And he didn't quit. So it was just a manipulation. It was just trying to kind of pull your, chain and
play the mental game.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want this. I don't need this. And when I see stuff like this, Ben Johnson and all these things, and I actually appreciate it because when you're trying to change a culture, like you have to establish and you have to get your point across early on, and it has to be a real thing, and the players have to know that that you're really serious about what you're doing and that there is an expectation, or they're going to just Deshaun Watson you into $230 million. Hey, I'm just doing my thing kind of thing, and we'll call it good at that. Utah County listeners, can you help children at the Road Home start school in style? Help 200 children at the Road Home start school in style. Stop by the Advocates in Ogden, American Fork, or Murray. Pick up an apple from the tree, and you can supply clothing and backpacks for a child at the road home. Every child deserves an advocate. Stop by today. See ESPN700sports.com for more details.
Let me ask you this, guys. We only have a couple minutes left. What was, we talk about training camp a little bit. What was one of your favorite things about anticipation for training camp? Was it going to the dorms? Was it hanging out with the team? Was it eating the lunch again? What was some of your favorite things you anticipated about training camp?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh wow. Okay.
No. It was always about just getting back into it, because you spent so much time preparing. You hear we talked about Luka Doncic in the very beginning, and you work so hard, and you just really look forward to that time and that effort paying off, and it's so it's and you want to go and you want to win a championship, and so it's kind of the start of all of it, and it's there's a lot of it that you get excited for. The challenge with camp is it means that it's beginning, but it's one of these things where there's so much testing, there's so much paperwork done that you have to do. There's so many tests. I always used to laugh. We'd do these tests, right, to start training camp, and they were physical tests, and it was everyone had a conditioning test, everyone, and I just always thought they were stupid, because none of how you contested was the condition that you would get into as a player, and so the worst one I ever had was like in college, like it was horrible. Coach Fossil. When I was at the University of Utah, we had to run hundreds, like 14 of them, and you had to get them in like so many seconds. And I think we ran like 16. And I failed. It was the only time in my entire career ever that I failed a conditioning test. It was 1 year at Utah, and I wasn't out of shape. I don't know what it was, but I just had a hard time. Anyways, oh man, we've had so much fun today. I just have enjoyed the heck out of this show. Check out our podcast version wherever you can get that if you missed any part of the show or any of it ever. Coming up next is the old Sean O'Connell Show. The young, the old, the new. It's the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Until then, we'll see you then.